Hi, hello. My name is Nicola Downs from Trentham Invest, and today I'd like to talk about a situation we've had recently about somebody who is trying to get their money out of their pots and was wrestling quite a bit with it because they've got one pot, they've got two pots, another pot with the papers. These are all double-sided with all these. And then the third one with all the information on here. So with forms saying, I need to postpone my retirement date if you're invested in the with profits or property fund. Please read the brochure for details on when a market value reduction or notice period may be applied. Well, I'm a bit frightened now, so I don't know what to do. So what I'll do is, here we are, this is helpful. I'm going to go Pension Wise. I need to go Pension Wise to go and see what I can do to get my money out of here. Maybe they'll be able to help me about this one and the other one as well. So this particular person went off to Pension Wise and was no wiser. So got my details, works in a local business, and got my details from looking for a financial advisor locally, and said, give me a summary of what his situation is. And I said, yeah, I can definitely help you. So in he came, we had a conversation about these three. And the thing with the different pensions is scheme rules rule, and you've got HMRC, which is the overall retirement options and rules and regulations, but Aegon will have their own rules and interpretation, Zurich will have theirs, and Aviva will have theirs, and undoubtedly they'll all be different. So how do you actually get your head around all these things? So we sat and had a chat, and I like drawing pictures. I like to visualize what's going on in a simple form. So I then drew a diagram on here. And I said, look, you've got your three pots, which is Aegon, Aviva, and Zurich. And ideally, we want to pull them all together into one pot, because that will just simplify your life. And then once they're in one pot together, we can then just take the money out. And what he didn't want, he doesn't need all the money in one go. So he doesn't want to take it all out. Because he doesn't need all the money. He's got enough for day to day. This is just for add-ons and extras. So I said, well, if you don't want to take it out in one go, we're going to need to leave it in a pot, and then you just nibble it out as and when you need, which he was very happy with that concept. And I said, but in order to do that, we need to put them all into one. However, with what I've said earlier, with market valuation reductions and guaranteed annuity rates and all of these sort of things, we didn't want to just pull him out of a pot where there's a special gem of a clause in that pot, because he would lose something highly valuable. So he said, fine. And we went to task to then understand if any of these had any special gems in them. And if yes, what does that mean to him? And if no, well, we'd then conclude he was free to move. So we did our investigations, and there were no guarantees, there were no special gems, so he was free to move all three together into one. So the next question was, which one are we going to put them in? And if we're going to be able to nibble out the tax-free cash and the other part of it, then we need a facility where he can just have the pot sitting and go into what we call drawdown. So we came up with a solution and a company that he could go into, which was Quilter. And the reason being is that they've got really good rules on their pension pots. They keep up to date with all the legislation and the new things coming in. Their contract is extremely flexible. And the investment choice is very wide, which helps with navigating all the investment markets. And so he's very happy about that, and we're about to prepare all the paperwork to bring all this about and get the money moved. we then said, well, how much does he actually want? And then thinking ahead of his life, he said he would like the money for holidays. And I said, well, how much do you spend on holidays? And he said, well, maybe 2,000 or 3,000. So I went with a 3,000 a year holiday, and I said, well, this will last until you're 84. And he said, I don't think I'm going to be going on holiday really at 84. So we said, okay, well, if we make it a bit shorter to 80, that means that he can go on a 4,000 holiday instead. So he was delighted about that, and that's what we're about to, we're creating for him. So the pot will be spent, and all his hard-earned wealth, which he was really worried about losing and not being able to have access to, he'll be able to spend that, enjoy that, and have some wonderful, happy memories till then. So we've prepared all the application forms, and just want to show you how simple, no, well, they're not simple, just the volume of paperwork that people have to wade through to get through all this stuff. It's been 30 years since I've been doing things like this, and I've never seen anything as complex as I've seen what I deal with on a day-to-day basis now. Getting advice, it's just not a choice anymore. I think it's mandatory. You have to go and get it. And go and see a professional person who knows what they're doing, because wading through all this, you just can't make the choices. So what we do, I've printed this out just to demonstrate how many pages there are involved in an application. It is online, it's mostly online. You have to have trust in the relationship. You have to work with somebody who you do trust, and you trust them to do the work, that they've done the work, they've read the contract, they know what the contract terms and conditions are. And then what I then do is pick out the key things that they have to sign to give the new pension company their permission to speak to the old pension company and collect the money and bring it in. So those keys are critical for the money to move. And then secondly, once the money has moved, then they need to be able to go online and see the valuations of their account. If they're not an online person, which there are many people who aren't, then working with somebody who is online and can print paper, it just helps that chain continue and carry on. So, yeah, we have some people who they can print at home, and then they can sign the papers at home and scan them back, and they go on an email back here, and then we do the necessaries. And for those people who can't or don't have a printer at home, then they've either got to come to the office or we send it in the Royal Mail. It still works. So we have all the options available for whatever your needs are. So thank you.